Welcome to Nothing Finer. I'm your host, Rick Beach, along with Austin Island. Austin, been a minute. What's up, man?
Yeah, man. Just finally got to see some live sports. Heard the draft broke a ESPN all-time ratings record or something like that. So I think everybody's getting excited, and I sure am.
Yeah, I mean, anxious. I mean, it's something. It wasn't physical sports, but it was
a step.
It was a step in that direction. It was weird. You had the commissioner in the basement, and it wasn't exactly the draft that we're used to, but it was something to watch live. It was a lot of info about sports. It was get your mind off everything else, and really got your mind off worrying about if there was going to be a football season, which I know me, you, probably a lot of people, that's our concern as far as sports go right now is, we can do without a baseball season.
Absolutely.
We could live with if the NHL or NBA don't finish their season.
Absolutely.
But, man, this college football got to start up.
That's got to happen.
And it really needs to happen on schedule. You really don't want it to start in, January and all these other scenarios people have been playing out. You really want it to start on time.
Yeah.
And plus that keeps everything
in line, man.
Well, if you say you start in October, that throws everything off because now you're in the NFL schedule with the Georgia-Florida game could throw it off. Or any other neutral site game, you have to interfere with the NFL team could be there or something else. So
yeah, I'd rather them start in the late summer, like they was talking about, more than moving it farther back.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to see it moved up before moved back.
I want to say I heard the date was July 13th.
Yeah, that
if coaches feel like if they get the players back on July 13th, they'll be ready by Labor Day weekend.
Right.
So, hopefully,
that's a good month and a couple weeks. So I mean, that
I think it could happen, and
like get them 5-6 days a week. That should be enough time to.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if it's your players come back on their own, and students don't report back to campus until later on in the summer, but if you can get just your team back by July 13th and kind of do a camp, it's going to be like a mini camp or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd be good to go. But like you said, it was awesome just to flip the TV on and watch live sports, and I was excited to see. And hey, we'll go right into it for Georgia with Andrew Thomas, number 4 overall pick, going to the Giants.
Yep.
You kind of lost he lost a little momentum, or what we heard. You kept hearing other names popping in front of him. All season he was going to be the first tackle taken.
Yeah.
And then, over the last few weeks, he kind of lost a little bit of that momentum in the media. But there he was, the first offensive lineman taken, first tackle taken, and really didn't get no pub on ESPN because they went right to talking about who the Dolphins were going to get because it went right to Tua, and they just can't talk about Tua enough. So really Thomas didn't get enough credit on TV for how dominant a tackle he was. How do you think he's going to transition to the NFL?
I mean, he's been NFL ready, since not long after he walked on campus. And in my opinion, I think he's been one of the most steadfast guys we've had, probably best lineman since Isaiah Wynn for sure. Obviously the run game didn't pan out the way we wanted this year, but, Andrew Thomas is a great pass protector, and he can bend and he can flex. And, I think that they'll be able to put him in better positions to succeed in New York than James Coley was able to. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him his first year came in, really wasn't as hyped up as a recruit as we've seen. Ben Cleveland by far had more fanhood.
Isaiah Wilson.
Isaiah Wilson that same year. So they come in, and everybody's talking about Wilson coming from Brooklyn and playing. And, Andrew Thomas coming from Pace Academy.
Yeah.
Came in and started every game at right tackle. Yeah. Then he was at left tackle for 2 years. And you could just tell, like, goodness gracious, he's very, very smart. And it comes out on the field. That's how you play as offensive lineman. You really don't see offensive linemen do that as often as you, would think as any other position. He's a 3-year starter in the SEC and really on 3 really good teams.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a he's got a big tool bag, and, I think that's what the Giants were interested in. And, they need a guy to anchor probably the right side of the line moving forward for the, the near future. And, I think he's got a big enough skill set that he can step in just like he did here in Athens and, step in there at the Meadowlands and, get down on it. And, that's kind of nice to see the UGA to Giants connection. That's been kind of, that's cool seeing stuff like that. You got
back-to-back first-round picks.
Yeah, you got Lorenzo up there, and, you got DeAndre up there, and now you got Andrew up there. So that's fun to see.
Yeah, and then, we spoke about a little bit ago, Isaiah Wilson, who did have all the, ballyhoo coming in out of five-star
Right.
out of Brooklyn. There he was in the first round getting taken by Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
and we knew we had 2 first-round tackles. I mean, that's
Right.
been, and, I think the results of this year don't really explain how good some of the pieces were, So I think some people were kind of, a little taken aback when they seen that Georgia had these guys going first round, But if all you looked at was the results from this year, that's only a small piece of the pie of what these guys have done, since they got here on campus.
Yeah, I saw first time since 91 Tennessee had 2 offensive linemen picked in the first round.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I think it was the first time ever 2 tackles from the same team went in the first round. So, I mean, Sam Pittman going on to Arkansas, but, he left a heck of a mark when you're looking at
splash.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 3 first-round draft picks at Georgia. And I will always say Isaiah Wynn would have never been a first-round pick if it hadn't been for Sam Pittman coming in with Kirby that first year. So, I mean, really what Pittman – and then, Hugh offensive line, Luke coming in. Matt Luke is coming in, and he's a heck of an offensive line coach himself.
Yeah.
So it ain't like we got a slacker coming in here. We got a pretty good coach. But, man, he's got a great arsenal of talent to go with. So I don't see this offensive line talent falling off at all. And I think this is going to be something that Georgia, just like running back you and really linebacker you when you look at the NFL, is this offensive line every year we're going to start putting 2 or 3 in it every year because, look at last year's line. 3 of them gets drafted. We'll get to the 3rd one later.
Yeah.
But, Trey Hill's going to get picked. Ben Cleveland's going to get drafted. Cade Mays in Tennessee, he's going to get drafted. That kind of falls with the Sam Pittman lineage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking good. But after Isaiah Wilson, who wasn't really a surprise that he was taken where he was, we had the run of tackles there to like a 12, 15, right around there.
Yeah.
But then the surprise of the first round, in a sense, was Swift wasn't the first running back. He didn't go in the first round. And, other running backs did, or one other running back did go in the first round.
Right.
How surprised were you?
To be totally honest, not that surprised. Not that surprised at all, really. What is I surprised that it was Clyde going over like J.K. Dobbins or something? Yeah. But where now the team that DeAndre ended up on, kind of surprised me. I didn't think, I didn't never see him going there. I just seen him fitting in better, in a Kansas City or in a Miami,
Yeah.
But that didn't work out for him. But, I've been saying for a while that I didn't think he would go first round. Early second round I think was pretty, that's pretty spot on for what he's done. I mean, and if this is a business, NFL's a business, it's millions of dollars at stake. And, it kind of like the Tua thing, but to a lesser degree, you got to be able to stay healthy. When you have nagging little things all the time, you can't do a team any good if you can't shoulder enough of the load to make real contributions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you want to look at with Clyde going over him, people saw him in the SEC championship game some.
Yeah,
but they saw him in the playoffs. They saw him in the national championship, and Swift wasn't there in the postseason.
Yeah,
granted he was injured, but he wasn't there.
You know who Clyde kind of reminds me of a little bit? Michael Turner. He's got that big bowling ball body. Got kind of a little
the burner.
Got a little bit of hands. Got them big thighs and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I remember he was playing with San Diego before coming to Atlanta.
Yeah,
I mean, it was that's I can see the similarities in that.
And they're the same. They're kind of similar in size. I mean, DeAndre's obviously not as beefy as Clyde, but they're around the same height and stuff. So
it kills me because you look at the years before the 1 year with Joe Brady.
Yeah,
where was he? And we saw Swift doing it year in, year out.
System changes people, man.
Oh, man. But that 1 year, so many people got rich.
Yeah.
They got rich off the 1 year with Joe Brady, including Joe Brady going to the NFL. So, I mean, you look at Swift going to the Lions, he's going to be battling with Kerryon Johnson out of Auburn, who was picked there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So, I think he could probably win that starting job. You draft him in the second round, you're pretty much saying you're wanting him to go there to compete and probably be the number one. So, really, with him not going in the first round, I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
But I wasn't totally shocked because I knew it's like Chubb.
Right.
Chubb was like the first or second pick in the second round. And, then we didn't have anybody picked in the third round. Then Solomon Kinley got picked in the fourth with the Dolphins, which I think that's a great pick for Miami.
Yeah.
Kinley's a great personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a heck of a ball player. He did get banged up a couple times, but he usually went back into the game, get rolled up on.
Yeah, he's a true, genuine ball player. When you hear him talk, you know, he loves football, and he loves, you know, he carries good positive energy with him. So, I think he'll be fine.
And I think going to Miami gives him that opportunity to grow. Give him that opportunity to get a little bit better, work on the game.
Yeah, and you come in fresh with Tua at the same time, and you just get a chance to, start anew. Which, look, let's be honest, Miami's still always going to be Miami, man. That's what every year people be like, they had such a good draft, or this year it's the Bengals had a good draft, and but I'm like, dude, it's still the Bengals.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the Bengals, because they're never going to change what they do. I don't know how they keep doing the same thing year in and year out and expecting a different result. But a draft just doesn't change you that much. It just don't.
Think about all the Bengal teams that had that were great regular season teams.
Got
Carson
amazing
Palmer
teams.
And all. Yeah. Chad Johnson was, and they just never really did anything.
TJ Houshmandzadeh
never won a game in the postseason. So I mean, you look at. That, like you said, that's just who they are.
Hey, they'd love to come up and beat the Falcons in November, though. They used to love doing that. Jesus.
So you're looking, that's round 4, but round 5, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going to talk about this one for a minute. Jake Fromm to the Bills. I didn't see him sliding as far back as he did.
You know what? The song I hear in my mind when I think about Jake Fromm?
What?
That Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, my God.
Landslide brought it down.
It just kept piling on him.
Yeah.
And the quarterback's taken before.
It's tough, man.
It is. I mean,
look, but what did Jake expect, with the year he had? I mean, look, scouts look at what you've done lately. Because when you get to NFL, it's what have you done for me lately? So they're going to look at the most recent thing you've done. And even though 17 and 18 was tremendous, and 19 could have been too, but, there was bad chemistry and missed opportunities galore.
Yeah.
So, I thought we had this discussion, when we found out. I was pretty shocked that he was even going to leave. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, I can't blame him because, you know how some Georgia fans are and how they give people a hard time. And
might have been why he left was just the fan base.
Yeah, it's toxicity, and, they come at the parents. They come at, his mom and dad and things on Twitter. And, why would you come back and, play for a team where half the fan base feels like, they don't support you? So I can't blame them. But
they still don't. That's what kills me. This guy laid it on the line for Georgia for 3 years.
Yeah.
Done really good at Georgia. He did stuff nobody's ever done.
Yeah, took us to places we ain't been in a long time.
Hey, how about just beating the 4 rivals?
Yeah.
How about Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Auburn, and Florida?
Yes.
He went 12-1 against those teams.
Yes.
Everybody David Green, hey, he went like 1-3 against Florida. Aaron Murray, he didn't blow it up against Auburn and Florida and all. 12-1, and the one loss he redeemed a couple weeks after that and got the win. So, what do you, a national championship? Yeah, that would have been great. That's what everybody wants. But why is Fromm on the standard of he had to win 3 national championships to be worth the crap? Now he's left out of Georgia, and Georgia fans still want to pile on the kid.
Yeah. It's just extremism, man. And that's what
social media at its worst.
Yeah, that's what this day and age is all about. It's extremism. There's lots of subtext involved in that situation as well that, I won't get into. But, there's just a lot of layers to this story, man. And I feel like if Josh Allen gets hurt, he's not getting his job back. This is what Jake Fromm does. He ran off 5 stars galore. Other, Alabama fans can talk as much as they like, but Jake Fromm was about to be their quarterback too. So, there's a lot of things going on with that, and I think, he's going to get his chance. And the thing about Jake is when you give him a chance, just like we did, he gets to rolling, and the guys get behind him, and they develop that chemistry, that back shoulder fade action, you know what I'm saying? And Jake just takes off with it.
And it's not a bad team. Buffalo in the playoff last season.
And I don't care what nobody says. Jake Fromm's better than Josh Allen, man.
He is. And think about this in the AFC East. You're looking at a division that lost Brady leads.
Yeah.
So you're looking, it could be open.
Is Patriots tanking for Trevor or what?
I don't know. I think the whole league going to be tanking for Trevor. And
I mean, you'll never get Bill to admit
that
he tanked, but Jarrett Stidham finna be their starting quarterback. So, tell me what you're trying to do.
I mean, if you're going to have – if you don't have a quarterback, which another reason Fromm slid as far back as he did, and people won't admit it, look at the quarterbacks. There's 9 free agent quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
And there's not that many teams needing a
starter. You
quarterback.
pick up a undrafted free agent. It costs you way less money. You keep him for a couple of years until your guy is, till you need to draft it.
And we'll talk about this some more. But
same with Rodrigo. Rodrigo's good enough to get drafted.
Yeah, but why?
But why when you can pay him less and just pick him up later?
If you draft him, then you have to keep him. If you sign him as a free agent, it's easier to cut.
Exactly.
And that's what
it's a business, man.
Yeah, it's a business. Do we want to see Georgia players get drafted? Yeah, we want them all.
Yeah, obviously.
The first
seeing both tackles get drafted first round, that was awesome. It was awesome.
As a Georgia fan, we wanted to see Swift go in the first round.
Yeah.
We want to see all, but in reality, that don't happen.
Yeah.
So 5th round was Fromm. 6th round, Charlie Warner goes, which he underperformed his whole career at Georgia.
Right. Yeah.
And,
but you gotta love the kid though.
Oh, he's a hustler.
You gotta
he
love
busts
the kid.
He busts his butt out there every week. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's everything you want out of somebody.
Yeah,
he just didn't produce the stats.
Right,
and a lot of it could have been the scheme fit or whatnot. But he just never had quite the stats we expect him to have. Kind of like Nada. Nada never.
But to me, 75-80% of a makeup of a football team is guys like that.
Yeah.
Who don't get the shine, but they just come in and they just put their head down and go to work.
But
and
he's not going out there to start. We know that.
No.
They got to start in tight end.
No.
Big time player. So
they'll try and develop him and,
But he's going because he can block.
Yeah. And he'll end up playing H-back or something.
They don't want him to go out there and be Gronk.
Yeah.
They want him to go out there and block because that's what you do at Georgia. I've always thought Georgia running backs are very, very valuable in the NFL because they know how to pass block.
Yeah.
Most college run. You can't go to Auburn and get a running back and he's NFL ready.
Yeah.
Because he don't know how to pass block. He don't know how to do the pro schemes that they learned at Georgia. Now, is Georgia leaning away from that a little bit? Probably so in the future. Monkey coming in, I know with NFL experience, but we're probably going to lean away from some of that pro, quote unquote, pro style.
Well, I think these offensive labels are getting a little too, they're not broad enough.
No, well,
the label is putting the offense in a box that schematically it's not really in because it's so multiple. Everything's so multiple, and you do so many.
The whole
different.
NFL small. I mean, you don't see teams line up in the eye.
No, you can see them do that, and then you can see them go four wide next play.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you got a fullback, but there's probably 3 or 4 fullbacks in the NFL that were really good play or even used.
There's no Mike Allstotts in the league
them
anymore.
days are over with, and then the pros, and therefore they're over with in college. Yeah. And so, Charlie Warner, he can go because he's blocked.
Yeah.
He wasn't in a system where he was spread out. But then you look at what Georgia brought in recruiting with Darnell Washington. He's coming in to do the opposite. He's going to split out more.
Yeah.
And, yes, he can block if you need him to, but he's going to be out there to catch passes.
He's coming in because Sports Center, that's why. He's coming in for the top 10 moments.
Yeah, so then we go to round 7, Mr. Irrelevant. But you know what? It's a local thing. Tay Crowder.
Great.
My wife and his mom, they're friends. We used to go see Tay after the game. My daughter absolutely loves Tay Crowder.
Yeah.
Seeing him get drafted was
cool.
Was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it was my favorite Tay moment was watching him get carried off the field in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
And
that was good for him, man. That was awesome.
Because he went through a lot. He was there with the Mark Richt there. He was the running back when Kirby got there. He switched to the linebacker. Then you watch him on special teams for a whole year in 2017.
Yeah.
He's never going to get any credit. Then in the Rose Bowl, boom, he makes that play on the squib, and people are starting to talk about Tay Crowder.
Yeah.
He played a little bit at linebacker that season and mop-up duty and stuff.
Well, he was just getting into that role then. He wasn't ready yet.
When 18 came,
he
played a little more. And you could tell he wasn't a Roquan by no means, but he was heady. He knew where every time there was a play, he was there. Kind of like Rennie Kern when he was there in the sense of every time there was a tackle, you saw 35 in the pile. And that's how Tay was.
Yeah.
And interceptions and fumbles, usually Tay's around. Richard LeCount, we see like that now. Every time the ball's on the ground, number 2 is going to be on the ground with it. So seeing Tay get drafted where he did, I kind of thought he might be a little sooner. But you talked about earlier going to the Giants, another Georgia boy. And then, just locally with Harris County, Jordan Jenkins playing with the Jets.
Yeah.
So now you got 2 Harris County guys up in New York.
How about that? That's a fun fact.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. I mean, they played high school. They probably would have missed each other.
They missed each other by a few years, I'm sure.
But I guarantee they know each other, especially with the Georgia connection, especially with the just being in the same county. I think Jordan Jenkins, his dad was in the military, so he kind of moved to Harris County. Tay Crowder's from Pine Mountain, baby.
Yeah.
And he's born and bred up there. So, I mean, it's just neat to see everything. We got a lot of respect for all the guys, especially Tay Crowder. Like I said, I love his family to death.
Yeah.
We love Tay to death. It was awesome that he got drafted, and he's not irrelevant to us, at least.
Yeah.
And, it's fun to see him get drafted. Best of luck to him. And we just talked about it. If you get drafted, a better chance of making the team.
Yeah.
Even if you're the last pick of the draft, they'll cut somebody they sign in free agency before they cut you.
Yeah, because they committed to you more by taking that pick instead of waiting,
So now we got the free agents.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I don't understand, Georgia had the number one defense in the country.
Yep.
You got one player drafted off of it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
2020, the 2021 draft,
Yeah.
there will be more than one player picked off that defense.
Yeah.
Probably in the first round.
Do you think it had something to do with the way the media was trying to label
I don't know. I mean, the
no name defense type?
J.R. Reed was a Thorpe finalist.
Yeah, how does the Thorpe finalist not get drafted? I don't know. J.R. Reed's one of the best safeties I've ever seen at the University of Georgia. Best football IQ.
He's got the bloodline. He's got everything you want.
Yeah, and, I definitely think he has a much bigger brain than a lot of the other safeties drafted before him, and I think, he's able to adjust and make calls that, a lot of guys with maybe a little bit more natural athletic ability aren't doing on the level that he is,
All right, so real quick, we'll go through the free agent signings. We'll talk about a couple of them because they're just big name players.
Yeah.
First, Hot Rod, Rodrigo Blankenship going to Indianapolis. He's going to take the place of Vinatieri.
Absolutely.
So he's got an opportunity indoors.
Big shoes to fill.
But he's going to be indoors.
Yeah.
But he's a free agent signing. So that tells you right there they're probably going to bring in some more kickers.
We
know Hot Rod.
They'll have a competition.
We know Rodrigo Blankenship's leg is great. But he's going to be in a competition. Then we just talked about J.R. Reed. He's going to Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. Hopefully he can make that team down there. They drafted C.J. Henderson out of Florida in the first round at corner, so he can slide in there and compete for a safety job. So
how dare they? How dare they?
They said C.J. Henderson still ain't going to win a game in Jacksonville. Then you got Tyler Clark, who we talked about in the preseason. We was high on Tyler Clark.
I love me some Tyler Clark.
But, does his motor, does he just cut it off on some plays, you think, and that might cost him some of this,
Yes.
That when you watch the film,
yes.
He's not playing.
I can't even say yes enough times.
Yeah.
I can't even.
He's got the talent to be a draft pick.
Yes. He takes plays off. It's so noticeable, dude. And it's not that noticeable live, but the next time you watch it, it's so noticeable.
So he's going
noticeable.
He's going to Cincinnati.
But when he turns it on, man, he's a monster.
He can be
when he cuts it on.
But you got to have it all the time.
Yeah. Well, maybe
you got to.
Maybe if your paycheck's riding on it, he'd be more inclined to get after it a little bit.
He used to take plays off at Georgia and hurt him in the draft, and he never did it in the NFL. Was an All-Pro. Justin Houston.
Yep.
He was notorious for taking plays off at Georgia. Then he got to the league, and like you said, when they had a paycheck on the line, it's a little different.
That's what I'm saying. When there's a few of them zeros behind that first digit, then you take it a little bit more serious.
Then Lawrence Cager's going to the Jets.
Yeah. All right. Nice move.
He's got to stay healthy.
Sam Darnold. Okay.
If he'd have been healthy all season, he'd have been a draft pick, no doubt.
Yeah.
And, I think Georgia had a streak of 6 years in a row. We had a wide receiver picked.
But even taking him and getting him to the league says a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but he'd have went to the league if he'd have went to the pros last season.
Yeah.
Out of Miami.
Yeah.
He's got the talent. Like I said, if he hadn't got hurt, number one, if he hadn't got hurt, we beat South Carolina. If he hadn't got hurt, we're competitive in that first half against LSU.
Yeah.
But when you don't have anybody, we have Dominique Blaylock.
Dude, isn't it crazy how George Pickens came in and just dominated LSU secondary?
Because he's got that. He can do that against anybody. Number one, we just
got
to have him on the field. Have him on the field.
He made him look silly, dude. He really did.
So then real quick, we'll go through Tyreek McGee to the Rams, Eli Wolf to the Ravens, Tyler Simmons to the Texans.
Okay. Do whatever you got to do, Tyler. Make that paycheck, baby.
Maybe he can go block a punt for him and keep him on the team. Lord knows if he'd have made that one.
I was about to say, he tried to block one time.
Because every play he's known for after that was not good.
And maybe that was like a cursed play, dude. It cursed the rest of his time.
His whole, everything changes with that.
Yeah.
His whole, we can forgive
legacy.
the motch punts and drop passes and all that. And he didn't do nothing wrong. That's the worst thing about it.
Could you imagine if he wasn't offsides and then he like drops a punt, and we're just like, whatever. He won us a national
he won us a
championship.
And
We
I
don't
wouldn't
care.
care. I mean, it's how it is. The one I liked was Brian Herring going to the Browns.
Okay.
He's a hard runner.
Yeah. Brian Harry and Nick Chubb together.
he
What are they
fits
trying
that.
to do, dude?
Well, running back. ESPN didn't have Georgia listed in that top 10 of the RBU.
ESPN's really been tilting me lately, dude.
Think about top 2 draft picks, top 2 rounds, first 2 rounds. Swift, Chubb, Michelle, Gurley.
Yeah.
All in the last, 4 years?
Yeah.
So who else is doing that? Nobody's doing that. Nobody.
I mean, LSU did double the number of players we had drafted this year.
They had 14.
That was just such an old team. God,
Yeah,
it makes me realize how old that team was. So many upperclassmen on that team.
Yeah, and that's that 1 year. That's what one coaching change can do.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Tom Monken's going to come in and we're going to have #1 offense in the country.
No.
But one coaching change can make that much of a difference. And if you ever want to see proof of that, look at LSU last year.
Well, we don't need to be where was we last year? In the 30s?
Shit.
We was in the high 30s or low 40s.
Just get over 30 a game.
You know what I'm saying?
Just get us 30
So
a game.
if we're ranked there, I feel like if we can get offense into top 20, with the defense as good as it'll be, that'll give us every opportunity we need. We don't need to be a whole lot better, just halfway better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Halfway better. We say, it's so hard, man. It's so hard to forecast now, especially since with no spring and stuff. It's such new territory.
Yeah. Now you're going with this mini camp deal coming in. Nobody knows what to expect out of Georgia. Nobody knows what to expect with Todd Monken. Nobody knows what Jamie Newman. It's so many unknowns in Athens and everywhere in the country, but especially in Athens, where it could be beneficial to Georgia in a sense, but it could harm Georgia in a sense because week 3 you got to be rolling.
Yeah.
Week 3
It's a
Georgia
big
has
deal.
to be rolling.
To me, there's no way you can recover from missing the snaps that you missed. You can only pivot and try and get in as much as you can once they give you the green light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all teams are going to deal with the same thing, so it kind of does even the playing field, but it's still so scary.
Well, it's the older teams are going to be
at
at the advantage.
Because if you got a team like an Auburn maybe who's, got offensive pieces coming back, starting quarterback coming back, then they do have a little bit of an advantage from
on offense.
somebody like on offense.
But their defense, they got to rebuild
right,
a little bit.
yeah.
And
So it's a
in a sense, we got a lot coming back on offense.
yeah.
Now, quarterback and coordinator.
Not a lot of proven production, but a lot.
But our defense was #1 in the country last year.
Yes.
And it's coming back.
All of it's pretty much all of it.
Coordinator coming back.
Yeah.
In every level, we have a stud coming back. Jordan
Yeah.
Davis,
There's
Monty
a leader.
Rice,
There's a leader.
Stokes,
Yeah.
LeCount. We're good.
Yeah, there's a
You go
leader at every level.
At every level. And that is so important, especially on defense with getting us in the right set, getting us in the right position to make plays, especially with the safety where we're at. And, Lewis Sign is going to be back there. LeCount's going to let him know.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's going to be.
Yeah, and that's the scary part about trying to find a leader on offense,
Monty Rice coming back, and he's great. But we ain't seen some of these guys hit that, the Adam Anderson, Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are going to hit that stride where they might not have been there yet. Adam Anderson's great because he's played good, but we still haven't seen that next level that he could hit as a grown man.
Yeah.
18, 19. When you get to be 20, 21 in this, some of these guys make the jump right then. And I'm really thinking that's where this defense could be even better because of that. Another year with Lanning, another year just rocking and rolling and bringing in the continuity of that defensive staff. Whether it be, Charlton Warren's coming back, everybody's coming back. Look at Glenn Schumann. This is year 5 for him at inside linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a big deal. And, I think the continuity is amazing for that. And, I just think the leadership thing we was just talking about is such a big deal, and having a leader at every level and, having the upperclassmen leadership. And, but that's what worries me about the no spring on, it's a double-edged sword.
Oh, right.
Because who's the leader on offense? Fromm was the leader.
Yeah.
Fromm was the verbal guy. He's the one who rallied everybody. DeAndre Swift wasn't as talkative dude, so we need to find, and Andrew Thomas, he's the anchor on the line. So
that's
we
what
have
I was
to
gonna
find.
say. It's that quarterback left tackle is going to be that.
Yeah.
And we're replacing both those.
Yeah.
Now, whether Jameer Sawyer comes and slides over at left tackle,
Yeah.
however they want to do that.
And Jamari's, he's got a good attitude. He could be a good.
He could be that.
positive.
He's been there. This will be year 3 for him. But we don't know. We don't know what kind of, Newman's coming in.
Yeah.
What kind of swag he's bringing in.
And we know Pickens will have something to say about everything going on.
Yeah, but they're going to rally behind Pickens the way he plays. Because he is balling out in practice. We've seen the practice tapes of him, and people see that. He's giving all he's got all the time. And, I'm excited to see that offense. But like I said, we just got to worry about playing. That's what sucks about this whole thing is, we're sitting here. And, you got all this other stuff going on and people arguing about Georgia, the state opening up and not opening up. You got all these stats and in a way, them stats do matter to football season as far as
absolutely
what's going to happen. So hopefully, Georgia, we can open up. Healthcare system don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Everything just kind of, there'll be numbers go up a little bit. But as long as we don't overwhelm the healthcare system.
Right. Everybody should be able to get treated as long as we can slow the spread to where the hospitals aren't overflowing, which as far as in our local area, they haven't been. I think everybody's been doing a pretty good job so far.
So if they don't start now with the state opening up, and then more states that are opening up around us, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee.
And it's not like they've opened full tilt yet. It's a phase. It's it's a multi-stage thing. So
it's not going to be fully running for a while.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to go to a restaurant, sit right next.
Yeah, you're not. Movie theaters still going to be closed for a while.
And the mask. But look, people, just wash your hands. Yeah, sanitize. If you feel comfortable wearing a mask, wear the mask, and do what you got to do to help slow the spread. Yeah. That's all the time we got this week. Austin, you got anything in closing?
Chop wood forever. Decent draft for the Dawgs. Looking forward to seeing DeAndre Swift kind of see what he can. I like that he is in Detroit now. Thinking about it, I think it's going to be a challenge for him. But I think he'll get a chance to, really prove some people wrong because I know he wants to. I know he probably, feels a bit snubbed and shoved in the corner a little bit. So it'll be good to see a little bit of fire in him, and hopefully for everybody else that signed, they can find a place and find a home and get that money.
Yeah, I mean, we're proud. I mean, this is always where you look at these guys, and especially now, Austin, you're starting to get there in age with me too.
Yeah.
You remember these guys in high school getting recruited.
Yes.
And you go through them getting recruited. Now you see them go to the NFL. And it's always cool to say,
you spend time with them.
Doing what we're doing and, studying and reading and, hearing and talking to people.
It means something to you.
Yeah, I mean.
Especially what happens to Fromm, it means something to me because, he's just done a lot. So.
We'll go to Tay Crowder when he was playing here. Number 2, had that long hair hanging out of the helmet.
Yeah.
He a big running back, especially in high school.
Yeah.
Just running over people. I think they beat Carver down at the Memorial.
Yeah, yep.
And that was because Carver was really good then. And it was just like, that's Tay Crowder. Now, Taquan Marshall was a quarterback, and he went on to Georgia Tech. Yeah. And, he's a good dude too. Yeah. But just, thinking back on –
But he went to Tech.
But, hey, that's still pretty impressive. In
it really is.
Educationally, it's pretty impressive. It's
that check gonna be big.
I tell you, the 7-6, they got great shirts.
Yeah.
The 76.com, hit promo code FINER. They got a shirt that said there's 50 stars on the flag.
Yeah.
1 for Georgia, none for Tech. I like that.
That's good.
Chase is good, dude. Go to the76.com. Buy any of them shirts. If it's Georgia shirt, promo code FINER, get you 10% off. That's all we got this week. Go to @NothingFinerPod on Twitter. On Facebook, just look for the Nothing Finer podcast page. Hey, God bless. Go Dawgs.
Out in the woods, you'll find me.